Welcome back to Aether Eternius, Dark Side of the Foundry. Uh, who wants to recount what you put me through last time?
3 not it.
1, 2, 3, not it.
Not it.
Who wants to? All right. Well, as the group is wont to do, I put a little side thing off to the side. It's like, oh, hey, this is happening, and you guys immediately latch onto it, considering there was booze involved. What you had been doing, you were returning to your inn for the night. But Various had stipulations about how the person kind of went about and ran the establishment. While Tiberius was like, it's normal for the help to come in and clean up even while you're in there. That's completely normal. Various didn't seem to like the idea, so they started looking around for another tavern. In the middle of what seemed to be a humongous party that was happening in the Spring District of Wonderland. Naturally, they gravitated to a bar, but upon realizing that that bar didn't have any rooms, they started looking around a bit further, and Various was able to find the extension of the over the hedge that was here in Wonderland. And of course, first thing they do when they step in, Flix gets into a bit of a bard battle and gets stomped. That was really hilarious to watch. All the while, everyone begins to essentially party their hearts out. There was drinking, there was food, there was shenanigans. Too many to recount here, of all things. Except for Frias. Frias, who had taken the form of a pig in order to sneak in, even though that didn't seem to be needed, considering the dwarf bartender that was normally there was not there. But Frias instead had headed upstairs after Tiberius essentially paid for their room, board, and drinks for the entire tavern with a couple of blue chips. Frias decided to get an early night, go to sleep. The responsible thing to do. All the while, everyone else partied hard. What they hadn't realized is, and at all, is that when you're partying in the Feywild, things can go awry very quickly. And by the time they realized it, what they thought was the next morning was actually a week later. So they, in their stupor, tried to figure out a way to escape, essentially, what is going on. They managed to make it to the second floor where Frias was asleep for a week. Because, again, they were still at least in proxy to the happenings. Hi, Bella. She wants in the drawer again. And through some, what I can essentially say, crowd surfing and yeeting through a room window, you guys are able to escape the tavern into the absolute mosh pit that was the Spring District below. Thanks to Belua, mainly. Belua had some good strong arms. Frias was able to jump out, almost landed on their ass, but wound up crowd surfing instead, so I guess it all works out. After a lot of sort of pushing and kind of shoving, you finally made it out of the Spring District, only to make your way into the Autumn District. Finally free of whatever madness was happening in Spring. You're all tired, you're exhausted, even the person who slept for a week is just feeling drained. You figured, well, if we've been gone for a week, we probably should check in with Sire Leonhardt over at the Bureau. And you did, and he was talking to someone. You never got their name, but they were a almost human-looking being. Like, completely human-looking. There was no oddities, they were dressed very regally, very... they were a very nice-looking person. But they had a lot of autumn colors, as to be expected. But you never got their name, but basically, Sire Leonhardt kind of saw how everyone was. It was like, you can just take my home for now. Just go there, get some rest, and come back when you're ready. And Sire, still having a lot of work to do, decided to instead send you off with what you can gather is a close friend of his. They dropped you off at the home, but they gave you explicit instructions to not touch anything. Frias even was like, can I clean? Can I do anything? And this person told you specifically, don't touch anything. And you had a little bit of roleplay off to the side. Does anyone want to recount what happened there?
Just Freya's and Belua bonding.
Mm-hmm. And I'd say it's been a couple hours since everyone was sat down to rest. And there's no sunlight trickling into the windows anymore. There's actually more lamplight as the sky above has gotten dark. And everyone is starting to wake up. However, as you are all each individually waking up, can I get a random 1d20 between everyone that except for Frias? 11, okay. 19, okay. Alright. Luminosa? Or no, Flix? Rose, you're first!
Oh,
As you're very groggily and sorely waking up, you kind of have to rub your eyes and try to have your eyes focus on the surroundings, but then you kind of pull your hand back and realize something a little off. Your entire body is tinted blue. From your flames to your clothing and everything. You have gained the random Fey effect that you are tinted blue for the next 24 hours. There is no washing it off. There's no prestidigitating it away. You're blue for the next 24 hours. Your head is also pounding. Like, you don't have a brain or a skull, but there's some pain. Next up is Tibbs.
Hello.
Tibbs, the bed was pretty comfy, as comfy as it could be. It's not super soft like the one that you're used to back home, of course. It's not filled with like feathers and all that good stuff. But as you kind of wake up, you can sit up in bed. You have the sort of the sour taste of last night's alcohol on your tongue. It's like that's the usual sign of a hangover. Your eyes are a little sensitive to light. Your head hurts, but mentally you feel a little odd. You have gained the Fey effect that you cannot lie for 24 hours.
I'm dead.
Next up is Flix. Flix, you're kind of in a similar boat to Rose. You wake up, your head is pounding, you feel sore, you feel as if every point of your body is just kind of like aching and screaming at you. Like, what the hell did you do? But you're kind of sitting there pondering over your things. You try to mutter to yourself, but realize that you're talking in a normal tone. You try to mutter again. You cannot whisper or speak in hushed tones for the next 24 hours. In fact, you favor yelling over normal speech. That is your Fey effect.
Okay then.
And finally, Various. You start to hear more people kind of rustling around in the house. Your ears kind of perk up a little bit and kind of crack open one eye. You see something out of the corner of your eye, but you look toward it and it's gone. You could have swore you saw something that looks like it was neon pink in the corner of your vision. For the next 24 hours, you will be... Yeah, it's happening again. That's the effect you got. Various, you will keep seeing neon animals of various species out of the corner of your eyes for the next 24 hours. Yeah, those are your Fey effects. They could have been worse.
I don't know. You gave me a pretty terrible one to ruin the party with.
These were all randomized. These were all randomized.
Well, then the universe just hates us.
I feel like Flix just got one that's their normal, habit.
I was about to say that too. I honestly think Tibbs got the worst one out of the lot.
Fine.
But yeah, you're all finally awake. Several of you don't recognize this place. This looks like someone's home. Not an inn, not a tavern. This looks like someone's home. What?
All right. Oh. That Hello?
I'd say you're probably in the same room as Flex, Rose. The door is open, so you can hear other people starting to kind of rustle around.
Flex, are you still with us?
Oh, by heavens, you're blue. Oh, and it's not a nice shade on you. Oh, I said that out loud. Oh, I did it again.
You can tone it down whenever you'd like.
Meow.
Sorry,
don't
Bella's
think I
wanting a
can.
mirror again.
I don't recall passing out in a bed, at least not this one.
The room around you is dimly lit. It's almost lit by sort of soft burning candles. It has a very gentle orange glow across the entire room. It looks like a room that would probably belong to, say, guests. So there's kind of there's a few beds. There's like one or two beds which you're both perched on. There's knickknacks along the shelves. There's an old oak dresser that's the lacquer is starting to wear off. It is a very rustic, homey looking place. There's no windows, not that you can see, at least not in this room.
Have you seen any of the others?
No, I just woke up.
That's yeah, I
Everything's
guess.
spinning.
Yeah, it's like oh.
That's not supposed to happen, is it?
Uh,
You said that's not supposed to happen.
not without considerable effort. Oh gods. Oh, feels like I've been snorting brimstone for a week.
Can you actually do that?
You'd be surprised what these forms can accomplish. I'm gonna go try to get some air. And
And as you leave,
go ahead.
the room, Rose, you realize that you're actually on a second floor. The building that you're in seems to be rather narrow. It's a bit more lengthwise than it is widthwise. So the opposite wall is actually quite close, but you can see there's a small staircase and you can hear someone, sounds like Freya's, talking down below. But more importantly, you see that there are two other rooms that you have not visited. There is one room seems to have the door closed, while the other one, the room is still open, but you can hear Various and Tiberius inside.
Rose is going to appropriately maneuver themselves towards the open room.
Okay. Various
I'm
Tibbs.
going to appropriately follow.
Various Tibbs. You seem to have woken up in what looks to be a children's room that hasn't seen a lot of use. The beds probably were very well made and had stayed made until you were laid into them. The room itself seems to be incredibly clean, but has that untouched look. It has a similar look to the exact same style as the rest of the house. Old, lacquered wood, rustic, no windows that you can speak of. Lit by candlelight. Then again, children's beds, when compared to you two, would be still pretty big. Jin, you're muted. I was like, I didn't know if you were talking or not because I was just getting dead silence.
Is there a mirror nearby?
Not in this room, no.
Tiberius is going to pull himself out of the bed and try and find some reflective surface.
You don't find any immediately in the room that you're in, but you do see Rose is peering into the room.
And flicks over his head.
And Rose seems a little, that's not their normal color.
Rose, show blue.
And it looks terrible on him.
Thanks for
think out
the
loud.
thanks for the heads up. Are you two okay?
Why the twins know? Hmm.
What's wrong?
Quite a bit. Let's not talk about it right now,
Why not?
because something strange is happening.
Well, besides roast being blue,
It seems something has stunted my vocabulary.
Well, you sound as verbose as ever.
so
Uh, Various, you cognitive over there?
Yeah, he goes silent for a moment. Slowly looks one way. I'm fine.
are you sure?
Why is Luminosa screaming?
I'm Flix.
Why is Flix screaming?
I'm not. I am?
If I had an answer for that, I would tell
I
you.
will try to speak very softly right now.
You find that you're unable to for some reason.
Oh no,
Frias,
there was trickery afoot.
Frias, by this time you can start hearing everyone getting up and whatnot.
Does
And she's
any
blocking the way out of the house. She'll stay where she is and wait for them to funnel.
Okay, does anyone remember what last occurred before we woke up in was apparently some stranger's mansion?
You were.
It's
Some
not a
of you
mansion.
fell on.
It's a townhouse.
Some of you fell asleep, and we ended up. He pauses again, looking quickly one way as he's getting up. And we had to throw you out the window.
Wonder if that has anything with me turning blue.
That feels like face shenanigans. Shenanigans.
Oh, wait, old man shenanigans.
Oh no.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Look about getting breakfast.
Oh, I can go for some pastries.
You know what? Copious amounts of sugar is not the worst idea right now. If only it will help drown out this pounding.
Everybody's just going to nod and just walk out the door.
There's a Freya standing in the way of the door.
And a
Everybody's
belly what?
going to stop and stare at Frias's, form and then
Normal.
look up.
Freya's looks very normal.
There's a Bellowa sort of sitting in front of the door. That sort of crammed into the hallway.
Mm-hmm. You're surprised they can fit in there.
Freya's will actually look at Rose, look around at everyone else, and be like, I thought we were going to be sporting red for the whole team.
I don't think to point out blue is my color.
What are you talking about? Have you looked at your hat lately?
It's blue.
Well, yeah, so
As is my coat.
my
Diamonds.
Look, I
Okay,
had a
well,
coat.
glad-
I previously had a coat that was blue. Well, you didn't make a fuss
Didn't
about
count
that
as
before.
people.
Well, I'm glad Sir Lionheart isn't here, otherwise you probably would have woken him.
Also, that's back when I was sporting red, so it didn't clash.
Prius, just where the hell are we?
Lionheart's manor.
It's not a manor, it's a townhouse.
Or townhouse. House, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess that's nice of him to offer his digs.
Yeah, quite a few of us were asleep by the time we got out of, well, whatever partying was going on. And when Tiberius and I went to check on how the investigation was going, they suggested we have a good little break.
Wait, Tiberius, took us all to see Lionheart? Like, when we're all like this?
I mean, Belua had the two primordials, and I was carrying various, but yes.
Oh, yeah, that's, Oh, I bet we were really just a face of professionalism right there.
Bella, like, slowly grins toothily.
Though they were quite impressed we were able to get out of said festivities, so at least you could have that under your belt.
Wait, you're looking pretty fresh yourself, Frias.
I mean,
was
I was
that come
asleep
on?
for a week.
Sleeper, and you see Rose's eyes just slowly widen at that.
Rose, as you're hearing all this, you're slowly starting to put two and two together. You guys were trapped in a Fae party, and you're sort of mentally now kicking yourself, being like, of course we did. Of course we got caught in one of those. And that's when it starts to begin to piece together. That's probably why you're blue. That's probably why everyone else is having these oddities. You guys consumed Fae drink and food during a Fae party.
Oh, we are so fucked. So we
You said
gorged
we can't do that anymore.
Oh.
Perhaps breakfast then?
Yes, yes, breakfast, please. Let's start there at least.
Well, at least Belly will be happy to get out of an enclosed area.
Oh, I hear children. Everything okay?
Yep, they're just playing patty cake upstairs. Loudly.
Okay. Very loudly. But
Yes.
yeah, Belua, do you plan to move, or are you still gonna sit there?
Valio slowly starts to shuffle backwards and
Mm-hmm.
starts to turn around a bit to try and get the door open.
Mm-hmm. And the door opens easily enough, and it leads out into the street. There's a small sidewalk. There's, of course, the cobbled streets themselves. It is not morning by any stretch of the imagination. It looks like it's nighttime. And as per usual with the Autumn District, the lamp lights are on. They're giving everything a nice warm glow. There's a few people occasionally walking up and down the streets, but this seems to be more of a housing area since you see very similar houses all along the street. It's very quiet. It's very peaceful, almost serene.
Oh, at least this is a nice change of pace from, was that really a week?
Yes, though it could have gone on for a month.
Of course it could have. Of course. Alright, I know we're still trying to get food to try to clear ourselves up here, but I'm honestly kind of surprised we didn't get sacked off the case for, being completely plastered during the week of an important investigation.
No, they were about to hire someone else to do it, but I talked them out of it.
Well, at least there's that. So where are we getting grub at?
Who wants to roll investigation?
Me, because I'm not hungover. I know the alphabet. Just give me a moment.
Okay. Furious at the hearing that everyone kind of wants a little bit of food, you're feeling a little peckish yourself. It's been a while since you've had something solid to eat, and as you look around, you notice that this is again a place that seems to be full of just normal houses, a residential area. So you figured might as well head to the town square and then start your search from there. And you start walking. Does everyone else follow Freyas?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And Freyas, you're keeping all your eyes open, kind of skimming the windows as you it's a very short walk to the town center where the large autumn tree is taken root. It's a nice kind of auburn color with its trunk and bark. The leaves are almost a constant state of yellow, orange, and reds. But with a 14, I'd say you're able to pinpoint sort of a corner cafe, the sort of late night cafe that you would usually go to pick up like sandwiches, maybe a drink or two, mostly like juices, teas, coffee. Just kind of one of those little side corner cafes. You're not gonna get super big meals here, but enough to tide you over. And it's pretty quiet. There's a little outdoor seating area. It's kind of quaint. Uh, there really isn't a whole lot of people in there. There's a few people sitting at tables, some enjoying a drink, reading. There's a few that are eating a couple scones here and there, but it's a quaint little place.
So, who's paying?
That's right.
I think I still got my coin pouch on me.
I'm already ordering.
All right. So the person that's working the front looks to be a jackalope, actually. Very similar to Bellywell, but they're a bit thinner on the build. They're dressed in a barista's outfit, but they're very much a rabbit with antlers. A
They're 10
jackalope.
feet tall as well?
No, they're about, say, 5'6" with the horns or the antlers. And they kind of look up from their counter. They're processing the last order, kind of putting the money in the till before they look up at you, Flix. It's like, oh, hello, welcome to the Cornerstone Cafe. What can I interest you in?
Sweets.
Well, we have a few. I think we still have some cheesecake. It's almond brittle cheesecake. That's one of our specialties here. And we also have some scones that just came out of the oven. We have blueberry and chocolate. And we do have some cookies as well. Sugar cookies, mostly. Do any of those interest you, sir?
Yes, I will take them all.
Oh, okay. And they'll start kind of moving around doing that. Rose, you see that Flix is already placing an order. And on what looks to be a nice little carved wooden tray. Stefana's barista. But they'll gently put the tray down, and you see them gently take a nice little slice of cheesecake. It's very artisanal looking, like it's fancy looking. And they'll put it onto the tray. They'll kind of doll it up with a little bit of extra almond brittle. They'll stick a big piece of it on top and onto a nice little serving dish. Then they'll take what looks to be 2 scones, 1 blueberry, 1 chocolate. They'll arrange them on their own little plate, set them on the tray. They're nice and warm. And then they'll go over to another little cabinet, open up the glass, and remove what looks to be 3 different types of cookies from the display case. One's in the shape of a star, one's in the shape of a maple leaf, and the other is in what looks to be the shape of kind of a sun. But it's got like a smiley face. It's kind of like, you know those two-tone suns that you see sometimes in art where they have like the 2 different types of colors on each side? Very mosaic looking. And they'll put that onto the tray for you.
Perfect.
And they'll
Marius
say,
is just openly staring.
and then the barista will look at you Felix, like, that'll be 2 silver.
2 silver.
2 silver.
Yeah, I think we're gonna order 2. We're on the same tab.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. What can I get for the rest of you?
Coffee and bacon.
We don't serve bacon here, I'm afraid.
I look at Rose with like the angriest look possible.
Like, Flix, this is like an artisanal cafe, and Rose just ordered bacon, of all things, at a cafe!
He ordered
Various-
bacon in a fey place when I had a pet pig.
Various just looks over it. Did Tibbs laugh? I see.
No.
Okay.
No.
Various
Alright.
is just still just staring.
But the bartender kind of looks a little perplexed. It's like, coffee we do have. We actually have a few different blends.
I'll take whatever's the just black and the biggest you got. What do you have anything else that's salty?
Grab Tiberius. It's a magical drink that makes you stay awake for hours.
So what I'm, and the barista's kind of staring at you, Rose, like, so what I'm hearing is a triple shot espresso.
Yeah, one of those, and make it double.
So 6 shots, got it. And as for something salty, they kind of look at some of the displays. You see what looks to be a sort of a flaky encased pastry. It's like, we have some stew meat pies. Those are sort of salty.
The meat pie will work.
Okay. And they'll take one of the pies from the case, and you see them kind of briefly heat it up over what looks to be a small, you know what a salamander looks like? Kind of that cooking apparatus that has like the heat that comes from the top. They kind of put it onto a tray and put it under to get a little crispy. Then they'll put that on a small tray, little plate, and they'll open up what looks to be a sort of a silver tin to the side of that, and scoop out what looks to be something white, something fluffy alongside of it, and then close that, open up the one next to it, looks to be gravy, and then they just kind of drench the whole thing. And then they'll put that on the tray, and then they'll head over to start making your coffee while looking at the rest of you. It's like, what can I get for the rest of you?
Fellow will waddle up. Big drink. Big food.
Well, if you want something a bit larger, there is a diner down the street.
He rumbles and then steps back.
The poor jackalope is just sitting there like, okay. Anyone else want to order anything?
I think I prefer to go to the diner.
All right. Well, with the second order, it would be 4 silver. You'll go ahead and set Rose's order on the tray. Nice, large coffee mug. Looks to be just... It's not so much a black, but it's a very caramel color. And it actually has a cute little heart pattern on top of it with the cream.
Aww.
So that'll be 4 silver.
Rose will just fumble into their coin pouch without even looking and just slaps a gold piece on the counter.
And they kind of look, it's like, do you want change?
No, thank you. And just picks up we'll just pick up the coffee and the pie and just goes to find a table.
And the poor barista just looks a little baffled, like, okay, and you'll put it in the till. Won't you change this hangover? So, Rose is sauntering over to a table. What about everyone else?
Phrase will just go over the table too.
Mm-hmm.
She'll wait
Yeah.
for the diner as well.
Flakes do have a blueberry and chocolate scone. They're nice and warm. You have some nice sugar cookies, and you have a slice of almond brittle cheesecake with a big piece of almond brittle on the top.
I bring it all to the table.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you want to sit outside or are you sitting inside? There's two different types of seating.
Outside, it's better for my hair.
There you go.
In Belua.
Mm-hmm.
And Belua.
As you head outside and find a nice little table to sit at, you really get a chance to kind of see just the life of Autumn District. Compared to spring, at least from what you can remember, it is far less boisterous, far more peaceful and serene, as I said before. But as you're all sitting there kind of enjoying your meal, who wants to roll me a random 1d20?
Not it.
I will shoulder the burden.
About midway through your little light meal, someone seems to be walking up to the large tree at the center of the square. And they seem to have a paper in their hand and something else in the other hand, and kind of stand below the burrows before turning and facing the street. And from this, they start ringing a really loud bell in their hand, just ding, 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 ding. It's a town crier.
Oh, fuck.
And after, I'd say about 5 or 6 rings, they finally start yelling, literally yelling, because they had to carry their voice. Hear ye, hear ye. The Autumn Bureau of Investigation is looking for new investigators. No experience necessary. However, we are searching for individuals with good investigation skills and a bias that is not aligned toward the prince's suffering. Is that suffering? No, is that suffering? Yeah. And they repeat this message several times. They get a few passing glances, but no one really seems to bother them.
Are we being replaced?
We're not working for the Autumn group.
Who are we working for then?
I can't remember, but I know it's not the Autumn group.
I'm scrolling. Oh, gosh, where did it go?
What's his name?
While this is all
Spring.
going... Oh. Mm-hmm.
No, it is Autumn Court.
We are working for the Autumn Court?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was
Mhm.
Autumn.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's up, Master? Are we being replaced?
sorry. Well, it seemed that way.
Oh. That's nice. Hold on. I need to do this before I can care about anything else. And Rose is going to take their... They're gonna kind of do the thing where it's like you are like... They're gonna take their pie and they're just going to like... put it into their coffee. And they're gonna kind of like take a spoon and sort of swirl it around until it's just like this slurry. And then they just
Oh no!
go ahead and down it.
That sounds disgusting. I'm sorry. You literally basically made a slurry of 6-shot espresso with stewed beef, gravy, and mashed potatoes.
That is disgusting.
Mm. Yeah, Freeze, I mirror your sentiment. So I would imagine everyone's just kind of staring at Rose.
You have problems.
Look who's talking.
Just because I don't remember being a Fey Prince doesn't mean I make that.
It's not about being pretty. It's about efficiency. I can.
Oh, it's always about being pretty. How dare you take that back?
Anyways,
Pretty life wouldn't be worth living. Or second life. Like this second breakfast! And he eats the pie.
It is creamy, it is sweet, it is delicious. A little crunchy because of the almonds.
I can already feel my head kind of clearing up.
No, you're still blue.
Yeah, I think that's gonna stick up for a while. What about you two? Rose points over to Tiberius and Various.
You're fine, Jen, don't worry. You just missed the town crier. That's all.
I could go for something that isn't slathered in dough and sugar. Perhaps cabbage or broccoli would be nice.
Ugh.
Yeah, rosemary and abomination, yeah.
Yeah, something a little greener would be swell.
Fresh cabbage.
Oh, they said
That's
they're.
it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, the person there said that there was like a diner down the way. Maybe they got something like that.
You know what? Tiberius, I know what I'm craving.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of pauses and squints at Tiberius.
Tiberius has his lips clamped shut. Just a smile.
Fresh tomato.
Hmm.
That always helps with a headache.
That does sound quite nice, actually. Is there a place that sells this around here?
You don't know.
The diner, probably.
Well, then perhaps the diner is the best. So what were you going to say? Squints at Tiberius.
I was simply going to comment on how your request or wants weren't at the top of my priorities right now.
Yeah, that sounds like a normal Tiberius thing.
Are you all right?
He's going to nod.
We've
Yeah,
just
you're
been
able to nod just fine. Just can't say it.
we've been all well, except for Frias apparently. We've all been partying with the Fae for a week. I don't think any of us are really alright at this point.
I don't know. Besides you being blue, Flick's yelling. You two seem fine, as she looks at the Gardanians.
I keep seeing things at the edge of my vision.
Okay, never mind.
Mmm.
Tiberius, you seem a little unusually tongue-tied at the moment.
That's because whatever they did, I cannot say what I want to say.
Wait. I have a.
Uh-huh.
Wait. Let me try this here. Oh, Tiberius.
Yes, Rose?
How do I put this? Oh god, I had I had thought, and now oh god, that train's left the station.
It's probably due to the Fey revelry that we went through. Let's go and get those tomatoes. It
Oh,
seems
that's
like an
right.
infinitely better idea than speaking about any problems.
Oh, yeah, okay, those tamales. I bet you just must absolutely love those, don't you, Tiberius?
I don't get why you're asking this. Tomatoes can be quite delicious if prepared properly.
Okay, yep, Tiberius is compromised. Anyways, let's go.
Right. So you guys are gonna leave the cafe?
Going to dinner.
Going to get the dinner.
Right. You don't know the exact direction of this diner. The barista didn't give you directions, so who wants to do an investigation check?
Alright, I will do that.
Alright.
Oh, never mind.
Damn! Okay, someone's hungry.
Someone wants their tomatoes.
Yeah, you are just focused on this. Is like, that sounds really good. That sounds really good right now. And you were just making a beeline kind of down the street. Your eyes are wide. You're trying to ignore the things on the edge of your vision. Just like, just focus on the tomatoes. Focus on the tomatoes. And you come across what looks to be kind of those old kind of 70s, 80s diners that has like the bar seating and the person that's on the grill on the interior, kind of between the bars and stuff like that. There's a few booths and stuff like that lining the walls, but it's mostly made out of windows. There's 2 or 3 people in there. Some are at the booths, and there's one person sitting at the bar, the self-service kind of bar area. And you just immediately open the door. You get a little ding, ding, ding. So it opens. It smells very homey in here. There's probably a bit of grease in the air that you can smell. It smells good though. And there's a little sign as you enter. It says, "Please seat yourself."
Well, here's a question.
Yes.
Is the grease made from animal fat?
No, it smells like almost like an olive oil grease.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Kind of that smell that you get when olive oil cooks. That kind of smell. I don't know if anyone knows that smell. There's also a tinge of garlic on the air.
Yeah.
Hey, I love that smell.
This is a far better place than that last place we were at.
You can definitely hear stuff that's sizzling on a flat top in the back. It smells like grilled vegetables. Like onions, cucumbers, zucchini, carrots, that kind of stuff.
Elois squeezes in after the group.
Mm-hmm. And, where do you want to sit, guys? It says, "Please seat yourself." There's bar seating, and there's also booths.
Going for the booth. Looks
Okay.
comfy.
See if I can find a good picture of what these
Various
look like.
trundles after.
Mm-hmm. Trying to find a good picture of what these look like real quick. Here it is. Kind of one of these places is what it looks like.
Ooh.
Kind of a classic 60s diner.
Oh god,
Mhm.
it's a Nate's. Run!
But you guys sit down in the booth. Eventually, what looks to be a waiter comes up to you. It's an Aarakocra. They look not like a normal Aarakocra. They kind of look more like a chicken. Specifically, they have kind of golden like plumage, but they're kind of dressed in the basic sort of restaurant kind of style. They have an apron. They got simple slacks, and they got this little notepad that they kind of flip open as they walk to your table. A little pen that goes. It's like, "Hey, good evening. What can I do for you folks? Have you had a chance to look over the menu? There's some menus that are in kind of like one of those little stand-ups on the table. Can I get you folks started with anything?
Do you serve salad?
Oh, yes, we do. We have actually several types of salad.
I'll have one of those.
Just anyone? Do you want it to be surprised? If there's any allergens that you need?
No meat.
Okay, that's no problem. Would you like it hot? Do you want a cold salad? Do you want hot salad? Do you want a soup with your salad? We actually have a lovely minestrone soup, which is a tomato-based soup with vegetables in it.
Just salad, please.
Okay. She'll look at you, Various.
Anything with lots of tomatoes.
You got it, honey. She'll jot that down. And she'll look to the rest of you.
Freys will point at Tiberius and say another order of what they're having.
All right.
Bella is looming.
Kind of looks at. She then kind of looks at Bellua. It's like, oh, you're a big fella. You want something big and hearty, don't you?
They nod slowly.
All right, that's one special. And she'll jot that down. And then she'll look at roast and flakes.
Bacon.
We got plenty of that, sugar. Do you want thick cut, thin cut? Do you want it crispy? Do you want it flappy? You want it with eggs? You want sausage? Biscuits?
Just bacon, thick, crispy. Just load up a plate.
All right. She'll look at you, Flicks.
I guess I'll take some fried eggs, please.
All right. And then she'll click her pen. It's like, anything to drink for all of y'all? We got different types of vegetable juice. We got fruit juice. We have coffee. We have tea. We have fizzy drinks as well.
Fizzy drinks?
Yeah, they're basically fruit drinks, but we add a little bit of something that makes it all like kind of fizzy in your throat. We also have floats where we add a bit of ice cream to those. Kids love those.
What was Flick saying? I'm sorry.
Orange juice.
Okay, orange juice for Mr. Shiny Glamour over there. She'll look to the rest of you.
Do you have any tea?
We do. We have jasmine. We also have green tea. Or black tea if you want to go for that one.
That one, please.
Okay. Would you like lemon or do you want it hot, iced, and with lemon?
Why by the twins would you iced tea?
She kind of raises her eyebrow at you, or her feathery brow. It's like, don't I can say try it, sugar.
Hot tea, please.
All right. Do you want lemon? You want sugar? You want cream?
Just the tea.
All right. She'll kind of look to Various.
Try one of those fizzy drinks. I'll probably regret it, but
All right. Any particular type of syrup you would like, sugar? We got strawberry, grape, we got lime, we also have banana.
strawberry's the only thing I recognized.
All right, that's one strawberry drink. Okay. And she'll look at Euphraeus.
Water.
Water, okay. And then she'll look at Bellua.
Big.
I'm gonna get you the same as he kind of looks to Various since they seem to be sitting next to each other. So I'll get you the same, except I think I'll whip up something special for you, big guy. Then she'll look at, of course, Roast and Flicks. Anything to drink?
Orange juice, please.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. It's a long night.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What about you? She kind of looks at Roast.
Coffee.
Copy. Okay. And she'll write that then. It's like, my name's Penny. If you need anything else, I'll be right out with your drinks. She'll kind of walk to the back. You guys got a chance to kind of really talk. In the silence, though, around all through the group. start hearing that there's kind of there's a little bit of music going on, nothing you recognize. That kind of ties into the whole vibe of this place.
Well, they didn't ask for our badges back. We may want to keep investigating.
I mean, I've already come this far and I've already changed colors. I'm not going back until we get this settled.
I'd say after about 5 minutes, the waitress Penny comes back. She's got a tray kind of balanced on one hand, and she'll set that down on another table before setting a mug of hot black coffee in front of you, Tibbs. Still has the tea bag in it, so she can identify which is which. She then places a mug of straight black coffee in front of Rose. In front of Flick, she puts down a nice iced glass full of orange juice. And it's got even a little orange wedge in it. It's kind of cute. In front of Various, she sets down a glass in front of you, and you notice that it's a very red color, very strawberry flavored and smelling. But you see bubbles rising from the bottom to the top. It's kind of cool looking. In front of Freya, she just sets a glass of water. There's a little lemon wedge in it. And in front of Belua, she seems to take 2 different glasses from her tray and kind of takes a spoon. And one of them looks like a long, kind of a tall, long, kind of a silvery canister. She takes a spoon into it and she starts just whipping it like crazy before pouring it over into a taller glass. It's almost foamy but red, but almost looks creamy as she kind of tops it with a cherry, puts a straw on it, and then puts it in front of Belua. She made him a strawberry ice cream soda.
So was that coffee or tea in front of Tibbs?
That's tea in front of Tibbs.
Okay.
Black, straight black tea. That's what he asked for. And then once
You
she
said coffee to start with.
Oh, sorry. No, it's tea.
Just making sure.
No, it's tea. But after she sets her drinks down, she takes her tray and heads to the back.
So,
Yeah.
where do we go after this?
Well, I suppose once we've gotten our fill, that waiter said it's evening, right?
I mean, we already know it's like almost nighttime because we walked outside.
Oh, well,
It is
sure.
nighttime.
Well, I was gonna suggest we should touch base with Lionheart, depending on if they're still working at this late an hour.
I don't think he stops working.
That's a good point.
So the castle will be closed down. The queen probably will not be available. The prince is in the dungeon in the castle, so they're also off limits. We really don't have too many options.
Say, Frias, what were you doing the whole time we were conked out?
Oh, well, you and I were just getting to know each other.
He was very delicately trying to put the straw at the front of his muzzle, trying to figure it out.
Aww.
That's interesting. It sounds like Beliala's developing. It's kind of neat.
Arius has nothing to say and just sipping his drink with the slight
Mhm.
wrinkle of his nose.
It's kind of like when you drink something, you kind of has a little bit of a burn at the back of your throat, and you can feel the bubbles in your nose. It's not unpleasant. It's interesting, but it gives the drink what normally would have been just like flat strawberry juice or something like that. Bit of an extra kick.
Yep.
Mhm. And I'd say about 10, 15 minutes later is when you see Penny come back. She is balancing a huge tray on her hip. She sets it down. Kind of has to use one of the other tables to do so. There is plates on that tray. First of all, she sets something down in front of Belua, and it's a huge plate. It takes both of her hands to kind of put it onto the table. There's a little bit of a vibration when she sets it down. It is a plate that's just... Do you know what a full English breakfast is?
No.
That's essentially what's in front of him. There are eggs, there is sausage, there is just there's a bunch of toast, there are beans, there's roasted tomatoes, there's a big old stack of potatoes, and then she also sets another plate in front of him that looks to be a big cinnamon roll.
Oh no,
Then
that's cannibalism though.
in front of Belua, really? But then in front of Tiberius, she sets what looks to be a very just nice salad. There's some fresh tomatoes, like the little round plum tomatoes inside of it. There's a few little dressings off the side. She didn't mix them in case you wanted something different. There's cucumbers, there's shredded carrots. It's a pretty basic salad. Looks good and fresh. She'll set the same thing in front of Euphraeus. And then in front of Rose, she literally sets down what looks to be just big slabs of, the thick cut bacon. And there's also pieces of toast and a little bit of eggs on the side.
Mommy, you know where my book is?
I'm trying to remember what everyone else had because I am really bad at keeping that. What was everyone else's order? I forgot. Various and Flix.
Rose had bacon.
And she set
Fried
that in
eggs.
front of you.
Oh, alright.
And what was Flix again?
Fried eggs.
Mm-hmm. And she'll set one down in front of you, Flix. It's 2 sets of fried eggs, but more importantly, there is a little bacon smile on it. It's kind of cute. And Various, I forgot what did you order again?
Something with lots of tomatoes.
Right, okay. And in front of you, Various, it looks like she sets down a plate that has 2 large tomatoes that have been a little hollowed out and stuffed with stuff. So you can definitely smell cheese, you can smell zucchini, you can smell a little bit of garlic and onion, but you also see big chunks of roasted tomato. Basically, she got you stuffed tomatoes. There's no meat
He's
in
probably
it.
going to carefully be picking out the cheese,
Aww.
or at least as
It's
much
on
as he
top.
can.
It's on top. So it's kind of like that. They put the cheese on top and they kind of broil it a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and then after she hands out all your orders, she'll take her tray. It's like, if you need anything else, just let me know. And she'll go ahead and let you eat and talk.
Our Rose will gesture over to Various' plate. Were those common where you were from?
Well, it depended. They're rather prone to disease and rot.
Hmm.
If you had somebody with magical skills to make sure that they've prospered, then yes, they could be found fairly often. If you did not, then no.
Hmm. Yeah, because you mentioned before how your family did a lot of gardening then, and I don't know, maybe that's something that you used to grow, or maybe you had to get it from elsewhere or something.
We used to grow greens and root vegetables, or at least my brother did, according to his letters.
Mm-hmm.
Not a fan of this, though, as he's plucking off the cheese.
It's mostly on the top, so you can just kind of easily peel the layer off and reveal the sautéed and roasted vegetables medley underneath.
What about you, Tibbs?
Stuffing his face so he doesn't have to talk.
It's a fresh, nice salad, Tibbs.
Could
No
not
weird
stand-
frills.
He's gonna take another forkful and just stuff it in his mouth while staring at Flicks.
We should probably start thinking more about the investigation, as even though tonight might not be anything we can do. Probably more areas in the castle. Maybe talk to the other courts. I doubt they'll have too much for us. Investigate the rest of the castle, maybe.
There's now that my head's starting to clear up, there's a couple of things that, from what we've seen so far, that don't really. There's just something that's missing right there. It's. No, we shouldn't really talk about it out here. Then we can do it somewhere more secure. But there's some holes that are holes in all this investigation that are bothering me.
Those would be things we would want to look for. The one thing we really do want to look for is obviously closest thing to the murder weapon we can find. That'd probably be the easiest. It's kind of hard since no one was in the castle at the time.
Hmm.
What was that, Tiberius? Can't understand you. Mouth full.
You can speak freely, Tiberius.
The entire thing is nothing more than an absolute setup done by the most hacked individual that could possibly have done it. Everything screams that it's a setup.
Well, of course it's a setup.
And yet the powers that be are too stupid to realize this?
They're probably using that for their own personal gain. It's called politics. I thought you knew about this sort of thing.
Yes, and if the queen was any good at what she'd be doing, she would have figured it out by now and gotten rid of whomever tried to... What's the word I'm looking for? Blackmail? No, that's not it. Frame, that's it. Frame her son.
You do realize that the fake kingdoms aren't a matriarchy, right?
Doesn't matter what they are. Wait, what do you mean it's not a matriarchy?
It's not a matriarchy. It's
What?
ruled by the king. The king is dead.
Then can't the queen step in?
Yes.
Not quite.
What?
Sounds like your place is completely messed up. Nothing makes sense in this place.
I want to find out how I was kidnapped and lost my entire life, apparently. That I still have no memory of.
I think your identity should be held until after the hearing. That just seems like it'll cause more complications.
She's got a point.
Especially with the whole Lord aspect of what happened.
Yeah, you'd think that might cause an international incident or something.
Regardless, we need to get the prince off of the hook. The only problem is we need to find out who did it, and if it wasn't the person who wants them gone, who they're working for.
Still, what gets me is how they would have gone in. we know that room is warded. There's no way someone could have gotten in or out by magical means.
And Jerome, the right-hand man of the king, was dismissed at his usual time, so he didn't notice anything out of the ordinary.
Hmm.
And also, the Spring Monarch is rather suspicious for rushing over immediately during the murder. Or afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards.
Right. Well, like I said, we really should try and keep the particulars of this out of the public until we know better. Oh, anyways, that's a big plate there, and Rose is just going to start just putting in bacon by the entire strip one by one.
You don't like the bacon that's usually served at lumberjack breakfasts. It's usually thick, and they're like pretty much slabs. That's what you were given. It's crispy. There's just a lot of it. And it's greasy. Good lord, there's a puddle of grease on the bottom of your plate. It's probably what the toast is there for.
Good thing stomachs aren't a thing anymore, at least with them.
Mm-hmm. But yes, indeed, the mystery itself. Now, at least from memory, you guys didn't explore a whole lot. You had some shenanigans in the prison. You did talk to the queen, sure. But the most you got were Yeah, you were able to look at the throne, but the most you got were testimonials. You still don't know how the person got in.
It was kind of pointed out that it's a you can walk in whenever you want kind of situation. So,
Or was it? You don't quite know. Because you did hear from the right-hand man that nothing was out of the ordinary. No one was there after hours that they saw.
I missed that last thing. What was that?
I said that you pretty much confirmed that no one was there after hours, at least from what the right-hand man saw, or at least what the servant saw. So by all accounts, if you went by their words, no one was there when the king was murdered. But then why was he murdered? How? Who? And how'd they get in? Not only that, but you still have no murder weapon.
we know it's pointy.
That's
Rapier.
about all you know.
Very
Potentially.
pointy.
Potentially, yeah. As you're mulling over this, you start to finish your meals, and of course, Penny comes by, and she does have a little stick of kind of a strip of paper where she'll set down, kind of in between your plates, like, go ahead and just pay at the front till when all you're ready, and she'll leave. And on the paper, it lists all your meals. Most of them are special order next to it, and it's about a gold and a couple silver.
I'll take care
The most
of it.
the most expensive one was Belua's meal.
Yeah, I got this. I would take it that Lionheart does not mind us staying for another night in his house.
You don't know.
Yeah, I was about to say we wouldn't know, but let's not overstay our welcome. We also should at least try to look for something in the meantime until the morning.
That's fair.
And the front till is pretty much a self-service kind of thing. You put the ticket on what looks to be a little pike, and then you leave the coin.
That's what Rose would do.
And the cook will kind of look over their shoulder. It looks to be an eladrin, a summer eladrin, considering their bright orange and red colors. They kind of look over, it's like, thank you,
Yep.
before they kind of go back to the grill.
Alright, I guess we're gonna find somewhere then to bed down for the night. Does anyone else has an idea?
Well, unfortunately, my idea would involve us knowing who or what the weapon looked like, and since we know neither of those, I'm quite fresh out of ideas.
I'll get back to you that after we find an abode here. Are we all set?
Everyone ready to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Various? Now here's the big question: Did Belua clean his plate?
Belua devoured everything that he was given.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Probably noisily and probably messily.
Oh no. So you have a very messy winged jackalope now who probably has cinnamon sugar.
Wolpertinger.
Yeah, cinnamon sugar icing. Wolpertinger. Cinnamon sugar icing all over his fur. Aww. But yeah, you guys exit out to the street. That was a nice hearty meal. I'd say that the hangover definitely has abated. You guys feel a lot better. It was a much needed sort of thing. So yes, you no longer have any levels of exhaustion. You guys are feeling better, I'd say. Now pay in mind, it is still rather late at night. In fact, there is a few kind of like clocks here and there, mostly along the lanterns. The lanterns kind of also function as a kind of a street clocks. It looks to be about 8 o'clock, 8:45-ish at night.
Rose is going to be first thing after everyone steps out. They are going to be looking for any place that was like a hotel or anywhere that's advertising as having available rooms.
Go ahead and give me either perception or investigation, whichever you prefer.
Okay, just a moment. Oh, I forgot to pop up my character sheet. There we go. Alright, for this investigation, we're gonna do investigation for that. You know what? Actually, we'll pop this first of all.
Okay.
And then do investigation. Oh, that's a total of 24.
All right. So as you're kind of looking around, this seems to be a bit more of a district that is kind of catered to like visitors, tourists, and stuff like that. So it is not difficult to find a place to stay. More importantly, you kind of pass a few hostels here and there, but more importantly, you kind of come to this very homey looking establishment. At first, you thought it was just a home until you saw that there was a sign that says, hold on, I need a random name.
Also, that was supposed to
I
be.
thought you were just going to say rooms available.
No. Let's do this. It's called Mika's Bed and Breakfast. And the door is open. It's kind of propped open with one of those like little chalkboard signs that kind of has a cute little drawing of a little cup of coffee. It says rooms available. It's kind of a nice little rustic homey place.
All right, we're stopping here for the night, and Rose will just continue on in before anyone can say anything else.
And as you kind of head inside, Rose, it looks like your standard kind of like little check-in area that you would see in a hotel, but it's kind of like as it's been built into a home. At first, you don't see anyone immediately before you realize that the front desk is actually host to a smaller desk, and there is a little pixie working away on a check-in book. And she kind of looks up as you enter. It's pretty obvious to see someone entering the front door when you have a clear sight of it. And she's like, "Oh, hello, good evening. Welcome to Nika's bed and breakfast. What can I do for you folks?"
We need a room or rooms, depending on what you got.
Sheila kind of go to the little logbook. It is literally a little logbook. It's probably the size of your finger. She kind of starts flipping through. It's like, "I've got a total of 2 rooms open tonight. You did miss check-in, but that's fine. That's not a big deal here. We're not one of those hoity-toity hotels down the way." She kind of grimaces, looking out the door. I will say checkout is at about noon. We also do offer, as we say in our shop name, breakfast at about 9 o'clock. You can have that delivered to your room, or you can have it in the parlor.
All right. Yeah, I think between us, we'll take both rooms on.
All right, sounds good. And she'll begin jotting down a few things before looking up. Can I have a name?
Pulling up my notes here. Just put under Wilfred.
Okay, and she'll write that down in her book before she gives a kind of a flick and a snap of her fingers, and you see 2 small little room keys appear on the desk. And they kind of have little feathers attached to them. One is blue, one is red. All right, you will be room numbers 2 and 3B. They'll be, she kind of points to the staircase to your right. They'll be on the 3rd floor to your right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just know that payment is at checkout as well in the morning. And for both the rooms, it will only be about 10 silver for the night.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. You have a nice, pleasant stay. If you need anything, just feel free to come on down and say something.
Rose's head cranes up to the stairs, and they look back to the group, and then they focus particularly on Tiberius and Various. Oh, are you two gonna need any assistance?
So give me a moment. I need to go make some rice real quick. So go ahead and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Assistance?
With it's 3rd floor up on the stairs.
No, we should be able to get up the stairs fine. It will bump our knees, but that's fine.
All right.
Tiberius?
Mm-hmm.
Various is gonna slowly turn to him and cross his arms.
You've been rather tight-lipped today, Tiberius. That's like the first time I've ever seen you like that.
And I'm hoping it's the last.
Oh.
Why are you casting that?
No reason.
It won't be able to carry you. It only has a strength of 2.
Yeah, anyways, yeah, let's head on up. I don't know how you all want to divvy up the rooms or who wants to be with who then. It's rather open, I guess.
It also depends on how many beds. If there's 2 per room, might have to have someone double up.
would make the most sense to have Various and I in the same room. We're not as big as the rest of you.
Yes. Say, as long as we're not having to share the same bed. Ugh.
If worse comes to worse, I can just take an animal form and, well, either the floor or the foot of the bed, depending on
You've
who
done
wants to
enough of
share.
that.
What was that?
Freeze has done enough of that.
Enough sleeping, or
Enough turning into an animal form and that.
I mean, I will admit, pig Frias was kind of starting to grow on me.
That's just because you love bacon.
What's wrong with that? You say it like it's a bad thing.
That is slightly
Bad
concerning,
thing.
considering bacon is what you eat. Slow squint at Rose.
Look, I just
brother
like
God, did you
I
eat
like
truffles?
stuff that's salty. Okay, it's I don't know. It tastes good. Like what else am I supposed to say about that?
Did you eat my pig?
I did not eat your pig.
Just out of curiosity, when you awake tomorrow, Rose, are you still going to be blue?
If I am, we will cross that bridge when we get to it, and I'll probably burn it.
Ah,
If this hadn't happened before, I'd be a little bit more unnerved. He's sort of looking to the side of his vision.
Before.
with Tiberius.
Back, sorry about that. Had to make some rice.
wait, are
Not
you seeing?
quite. I
Wait, what are
at
you?
one point was kept on seeing something just out of the corner of my eye. A little minor curse. And now
Never-
it's happening again.
You never thought to say anything?
It wasn't persistent, it lasted a few hours and it was done.
That's not good. That's terrible. Why would you do that?
Indoor
What did
voice,
I do?
indoor voice, flex.
I don't have one right now.
All who
Tips.
agree that Flix gets their own room, raise your hand. Tiberius raises his
I'll.
own hand.
Well, we only have 2 rooms. I'll be in whatever room Flex is in. Someone's gotta keep an eye on him at least, or her.
No, he might be a pig eater.
I've put in OOC what the rooms sort of look like.
Finally, something with class.
So there's only one big bed in each room?
Yes.
Right, so the 2 primordials will be in their own room, and we shall share one with Phrase.
Yes, Belua pauses and looks down before rumbling,
Aww.
and after a moment, they simply vanish.
Aww.
Oh.
Poor Belua.
So I think the most obvious thing is Freyas gets the bed and we'll sleep on the chairs.
That seems agreeable.
No. There's
It's either that or the two of us fighting over who gets the bed.
you
Why don't you
two
all just
seriously
sleep on the
can't.
bed?
You two seriously can't share a bed. It is quite a large bed.
Yeah, the three of you could fit on it.
I'd say that it would be pretty easy for us and the two buttons to fit on one bed. They're big enough.
I wouldn't want the rumors to start. I will take the chair, thank you. You both can sleep in the bed if you wish.
What rumors? You're in the Feylands. You're not home. Your home sounds like a horrible place.
Enjoy your night with Rose.
Oh.
Close the door.
Oh!
You're the damn bed.
Just
Stupid
drop
rabbit.
it. Just drop it, Flex.
They're
Let
gonna
them
get
do their
themselves
thing.
killed because they're being retarded.
Or
Learn to be friends, damn it.
Anyways,
Look, maybe
I think
he'll
I've
throw on it later.
yeah.
So, bedtime. Reconvene in the morning.
Brias, there is something I did want to mention with you, and well, I guess since Flex is still awake too, let's get in our room first here.
They're nice little homey rooms. Nothing too crazy or special about it. The beds are comfy. They're nice and soft. You could probably try to lay in it. You'd sink a little bit.
All right. So there's a couple of things I've been going over my mind here. First of all, Flex, you at least remember to the point that you used to live in that castle, right?
No. No, I don't.
Oh,
I don't remember any of that. The only thing I remember is being Jericho's ward.
but you remember
That's
being
it.
kidnapped, or at least you came to that conclusion.
I've come to the conclusion that I was kidnapped. But I don't remember life in that castle. I don't remember my family.
All right. There's something that next time we get a chance to talk to Reginald, there's something that I do want to ask him is it bothers me a lot how someone would have gone in or out of the throne room even that late an hour there. Like, I would have to imagine that they can't just be that one entrance to the front there. Maybe there's something we're missing, like some kind of like secret door or a hideaway.
Rose, I'm the son of an archfey. And apparently my entire history was taken away from me.
Well,
Getting
no,
through the front door is not really much of an issue as far as I'm concerned.
Just tossing out ideas.
Or they could have been hiding in plain sight. Who says invisibility doesn't affect any of their wards?
They may not have been invisible. They could have been someone that the king knew
Also that.
and thought wasn't a threat.
That's one possibility. Frias, you were mentioning something earlier to Diner about trying to like identify the weapon or something. What were you trying to get at there?
If we knew what the weapon looked like, down to probably a very specific detail, I do have the ability to scry on far distant objects or people.
All right, now I follow you there. Oh, whoops! I did not mean to cast that. But I guess since this does lead into what Rose was going to talk about, I was kind of thinking of something similar. It's not quite scrying in the way that what you're describing, but I believe there may be a way I can. How do I put this? I think there's a section of my magic I can access that would sort of give us sort of story of something. It's like, take that throne for instance. Like, that hole and that dent were not always there then. They were there for a purpose. My theory is that I may be able to try to discern divinely through that what may have led to causing that hole then. I'm not gonna make any promises here. This is going on a wild tangent right there, but if I can assemble some components together here, I may be able to try to give us some kind of lead as to what occurred in that moment.
And if you can get a good enough description of said weapon, I may not be able to look in the past, but I could look at the current, which could possibly lead us to at least who wields such weapon, whether it's their own or something they ditched later.
Yeah, that would track, yeah. It is gonna take like I said, assembling a couple of things, so I think there's gonna be some shopping in order tomorrow. But between my gold and those chips that Tiberius has, we should be able to cover that adequately enough.
We'll have to see, because I don't know how far the chips will go here, unless you've already found out.
Well, apparently, I don't know, but I don't know how loaded Tiberius is exactly, but how much they're carrying was apparently enough to get us into like a week's worth of revelry.
Oh, well, hopefully he sleeps well and he'll be able to divvy up some of that for provisions.
Mm-hmm.
Any other ideas before we call it a day and start tomorrow?
I think. I think those magical means of what we're gonna discussing will be. I think that might be our best starting point there. I mean, we can even just get something off of either one of those. Then that's gonna help point us in the right direction, I think.
Yeah, it's Tiz, alright. That sounds about right.
Is Various with us, or is Various watching just these floating objects?
I believe he was in the room
Mm-hmm.
and is just watching with judgment.
Yeah, I say you managed to do just that, Tibbs. It's like the equivalent of building a pillow fort, really, or a blanket fort. If you think hard enough, it's a fancy 4-poster bed. At least the chair is
Personalized.
comfortable. At least
Very
the chair
personalized.
cushions are comfortable, at the very least.
All it takes is enough creativity.
And honestly, considering a Gardanian size, it's pretty easy to get comfortable on those for you guys, since they're meant for much larger creatures. Now, pay in mind, you can also steal pillows from the bed. There's like 10 of them on there.
The bed now has 9 less pillows.
Oh. Anything else you guys want to do before you go to bed?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's about it there.
And as you all turn into your rooms for the night, I'd say you all get a relatively uneventful sleep. So go ahead and get yourselves a long rest, every single one of you. And the night passes without any real issues. It's quiet, it's peaceful, the beds are comfy, even the chairs are pretty comfy for Tiberius, who decided to turn one into a 4-poster bed. And as morning comes around, the sunlight kind of trickles in from the blinds. A bit more in Freya's, Various, and Tibbs' room, considering he stole the drapes to create his little fort, in a way. But there is a soft knock at your door. At both your doors.
Yeah.
No answer, there was just a knock. And the sounds of someone moving around.
Oh, there's the alarm. All right, everyone, get up.
So everyone roll me a 1d20.
Wait, what?
Everyone roll me a 1d20, please. This is just for order. Okay. Also to see how well each one of you wake up. Damn, okay.
Even with the weakest sleep, Freya's cannot beat a Flick's beauty sleep.
How do I long rest?
Yeah, how do you roll
Uh,
that?
you should
I
just
think
be able
you
to.
just I think you just
Yeah.
reset your own stuff.
Yeah, you just reset like your HP and whatnot. Alright, Tibbs, you're first up. Your back's a little sore from waking up. You get, like, the moment the sunlight starts coming into the room, it hits your eyes.
Give him a second, Nova. He's just putting the dog out.
That's fine.
You were the first one awake because you slept like garbage.
Why did I sleep like garbage?
Because the sun got in your eyes from the fact that there's no drapes on the windows.
My hubris!
But you wake up feeling pretty refreshed. You could have slept another hour or two longer, sure, but you're feeling a little peckish. There's been a knock at the door. More importantly, you feel as if the fog in your mind that was pretty much haunting you the last day is gone.
There's a knock at the door. Who's at the door?
Do you open the door?
By a crack, yes.
There is a sort of a roller tray that has several different covered dishes on it.
Yes.
There's no one there.
Peek out.
No. There's another There's another kind of roller cart in front of the room that Flix and Rose are into.
Well, this certainly doesn't raise any suspicions of mine. Yes. It's gone. He's going to let it in.
And you kind of roll it in, and do you take a peek under the lids?
Of course.
It's breakfast food, pancakes, eggs, stuff like that. Just basic breakfast food. Drinks that are covered to make sure they don't spill. There's a little kind of a multi-tiered tower with little small bites and stuff like that on it.
He'll bring it in and then
Mhm.
serve himself.
There's a decent amount of spread. It's very carb heavy, as most breakfasts tend to be. And as this is happening, you kind of start stirring awake, the lights piercing your eyes. You're trying to close your eyes. You put a pillow over your head. You want a few more minutes, and then you hear the telltale sound of something being rolled into the room, plates clinking, munching.
Oh. What is it?
You kind of open one eye.
I believe this is what they call their breakfast. Quite doughy. Is everything in this place just pastries? Yeah, the flicks always ate that stuff.
Darius is gonna slowly get up and uncurl and just thump over.
And yeah, there's just a basic breakfast spread that you can kind of pick and choose what you want. A lot of it is sweet stuff.
He's gonna
There's
pick
some-
out a few and put a few in pockets.
You sure you want to put it in your pocket?
I have prestidigitation.
I was about to say, give me just roll me a random 1d6.
He's
So
not gonna
honestly-
put something that's like obviously jam and cream cheese and stuff in his pocket.
I know, but I'm just saying that there's other things on there. I just want to see what you pick up first. Considering
1d20.
something. 1d6. You pick up what looks to be a sort of a Danish of sorts. So it's got like kind of like some sort of a white center. It's a little sticky on the edges, but it looks like a cheese Danish. It's the first thing you pick up.
He takes a few sniffs before taking a big bite.
Surprisingly, it's not super sweet. It actually is a bit more buttery, and it actually has a slight sour tang from the cheese in the center. It's a good balance.
You
I know.
see him pause and then. Ugh, why does everything have cheese? Or lots of butter?
See? Exactly what I was saying.
You do get the whiff of cinnamon rolls, though. Various. Under one of the little trays.
You see him pause, take a few sniffs, and is immediately digging through things.
You find a tray that has 3 nice hot cinnamon rolls on it.
He's gonna glance to Tiberius, glance to the cinnamon rolls, and slowly slide them off the cart.
Just slowly takes the plate.
Nope.
Don't notice it. Yeah, you definitely notice it. He doesn't see it. Various victory.
He's just going to, well, I have my share, and start scuttling back to his seat.
And as this is happening, Rose, that's when you start to wake up and hear the knocking at the door. It's a little bright, but as you kind of I almost forgot. As this is all happening, you realize that there's no things on the edge of your vision. Your vision seems pretty clear.
Yay!
And now, Rose, as you're waking up, the first thing you kind of do is kind of put a hand over your face because there's a little bit of sunlight trickling in, and you realize that you're no longer blue.
Oh, well, okay. That's one less thing for Flix to complain about when it comes to me.
But of course, there's a knock at your door.
Rose will ease out of the bed and will go and open it.
And there is a roller tray cart just sitting in front of your door. It's got several trays on top of it that are covered.
Well, gingerly take a look at the contents.
Breakfast stuff. You got some pancakes, biscuits, eggs. There's a little bit of bacon here or there. Cinnamon rolls. Basic breakfast fare. There's even a little multi-tiered little tray that has little small bites on it.
Roses, we'll go ahead and wheel it in, and then we'll look to the Frias and Flix in the room. Wake up, we got chow.
And that is when Freya wakes up.
I thought I
Kinda-
was in the rabbit's room.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Freya's is in the rabbit's room.
Mhm.
Freya's, you've been hearing kind of little tinks and clacks here and there. You're trying to get a little bit extra sleep, but considering you had a pretty good rest, nice comfy, you kind of just slowly crack open one eye, crack open the other, and kind of see the buns are eating. They're currently partaking in a tray that cart tray that they had brought in.
All I can imagine is like groggily waking up and looking over at two hunched over beings being gremlins.
Yeah.
I
I'll
don't
have you know Tiberius eats with class. He has his own fork.
Of course, they aren't going to be the gremlins of the group. But no, Freya will eventually just get up and quietly join in eating.
No words or nothing, just kind of get up, shuffle over, and just start picking for what they haven't already consumed.
There he
Indeed.
stuffs something into his mouth.
Drow.
Freya knows you don't take something else's food. You get the scraps.
And that leaves us with Flix. Flix, that is some of the best rest that you've had in a while. You
Oh,
wake
good.
up, you're feeling refreshed. You're feeling Disney princess levels of refreshed here.
Oh, nice.
Like, and you smell food too. You smell sweet food. You smell danishes. You smell cinnamon rolls. You smell pancakes in the room. This is a good morning.
Good morning, Big Flicks.
As a result of your nat 20 of waking up, you will have one advantage roll for the rest of the session of your
Woohoo!
choosing.
Nice.
So you're feeling hella good this morning.
All right.
But yeah, you guys have your breakfast, and you do know at least, Rose, that checkout is at noon. The
Mhm.
day is yours. What do you all plan to do?
I think the first thing we should do is go and speak to what is it? What do they call himself? A sheriff? God captain? The big
You could just say, yeah, we could go see Lionheart.
Yes, we'll go and see him and see why there's another group being hired. Though I don't think he's the one doing the hiring.
The man with Lionheart, I'm sure you remember, after you guys have gone off to bed, he seems to be higher than him.
Perhaps talking to that one would be a better idea.
No, I think Lionheart will give us enough good information on what's happening. I'm just sure they don't have enough people to look for things.
Agreed.
So as you're all finishing up your breakfast, of course, the pixie will come up to you, Rose, to get the payment for the rooms for the night. It was only 10 silver for both. Not too bad. It was actually pretty cheap for the service and the level of comfort that you guys got.
Mhm.
But as you head out into the streets, it's a nice, bright, sunny morning. It's surprisingly pleasant. You can still kind of hear on like the edge of your vision the craziness happening from spring as it kind of carries on the wind, like that kind of background noise that if you really listen to, you can kind of hear from far off, like you can in the city. Some kind of like how you here's a very specific example. If you live like down the street from like a stadium or a college stadium, during a game night, you can still kind of hear stuff that's going on. It's kind of that kind of feel. But Now that you're on the street, where are you guys going? Who's leading the pack?
Rose will if no one else is taking point.
No objections?
No objections.
Alright.
Does Flix have any objections?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. No objection. But yeah, Flix, as you're following behind Rose, you realize that you can control the volume of your voice today.
Oh, that's probably better.
Probably.
Eventually, you. Go ahead. Go ahead, East.
Oh yeah, yeah. Rose will make a mention as they're preparing to head on. Okay, well, it appears whatever craziness or whatever Bay thing was came over us seems to have vanished. I'm no longer a blueberry.
No blueberry flavored Rose.
Aren't there flames that go blue?
Yeah, but they would not be very hot.
So, lead on.
Hmm.
What's the matter, Various?
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh, by the way, I need to. While we're out today, I'm gonna have to borrow some change from you, Tiberius. It's for the investigation.
Borrow change? How much are we talking about here?
Is Rose starts to do that sort of counting thing on their fingers. We're gonna need probably some. Okay, long story short, we're gonna need some really good incense and some really good pieces of ivory.
Why in the twins do you need those things?
Are we doing a seance?
What's a seance?
It sorta like that.
Oh, we're gonna speak to the dead.
I thought we weren't allowed to see the king's body.
We're not quite speaking of that. It's I went over this with Frias and Flix last night. Like, anyways, we're gonna need to get some good quality spell components while we're out, and it's not gonna be cheap, but I think it's gonna be our best shot at trying to get us a lead in this case.
You keep mentioning the things you need, but not the price associated with it. I'm used to coming from a well-influenced family, so go ahead, give me a number.
Like 300 gold pieces, around that amount.
Oh.
Or actually, let me double check here. Oh, that's for doing so. No, it's like 400, 450, around that.
I think I can figure something out for that. Depends on the individual that we'll be dealing with.
Alright, fair. But
You're
yeah,
not
let's
handing out I'm not simply handing out my honestly gained wealth.
Why are you looking at me?
Okay,
Keep
well.
mine off.
But yeah, anyways, let's go find Lionheart and see. Let's get caught up on stuff here.
Say him to the burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's about the same as it was the last time you were here, but you notice that there are quite a few more people kind of in the waiting area. And what do you do once you enter?
Unless someone's down, Rose is gonna head over to Lionheart's office and knock.
No one stops you. The receptionist kind of glances in your direction. She recognizes you. And you kind of go past the first front door and start heading into the back offices. And Lionheart's room is the same as it always is. The light's still on. And you knock on the door. You kind of hear it tired. Come in.
Yeah, Rose will open the door and I'll make sure everyone else can
The
get in.
office is still in the same chaotic disarray as it has been. Lionheart has several more empty mugs of coffee now on his desk as he seems to be poring over what looks to be some sort of logbook. He doesn't look like he
Yes.
slept very well.
Morning.
Oh, is it morning? How long have I been up?
Probably not as long as we have been. That's a story for another time. We basically want to stop by and see if there were any other developments in the case while we were away.
Sort of. We actually did have something this morning. The Winter Queen came storming in here and wanted another team to put on the investigation, so that's another one that's decided to throw in their chips. That's been a bit chaotic.
Interesting.
Any reason why she wanted another team?
Because she wants Reginald off the hook. She's always been relatively close with the royal family, and outside of course, the Queen, her and the Winter Queen are pretty much the only lifelines Reginald has at the moment.
I have a question.
Yeah, what is it?
Is there anyone in any of the districts that would have magic strong enough to wipe the memories of someone of an Archfey bloodline?
Sire kind of leans back in his chair and he kind of thinks for a second. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone does, but typically that sort of power tends to come from gentry.
And have there been many gentry up here lately?
There's a few, but they don't reside here in Wonderland. They tend to have their own domains, so to speak, within the Feywild. They are not very keen on sharing power, so to say. That's why they tend to not be very welcome here in Wonderland if they are not willing to broker peace. Many do not, as evidenced by the fact that, well, there's several kingdoms in the Feywild after all.
I have a question as well.
Yes?
Suppose that we were able to potentially find Elena's case by let's just say by more magical means than it's if we were to do so with you as a witness or something, would that be justification enough if we needed to investigate someone further then?
He kind of taps his chin before kind of holding his hand. It's like, perhaps, what did you have in mind? At this point, any means of aiding the investigation are welcome.
We think we may be able to practice divination. Some of us have some theories behind that. We're gonna need some kind of ritual space prepared potentially. I mean, at least for my end of that, then.
Okay.
But if we could do that, and like I said, you know, if you're there to witness it, you have your word. Then, if we find something, then if we need to go, I don't know, higher up or to the families or something, at least that will give us probable cause for that, right?
Yes, that is permission you would need to gain from the Queen, as well as the head of this investigation as well. But
Aren't you the head of the investigation?
that would be my boss. You met him last night.
Ah. With the proper ears.
He looks confused. What?
They had a point.
What?
No.
Wasn't he Eldrin?
No. You didn't know what he was. I said he looked human.
Oh. I thought he was Eldrin. My bad. Take that back.
No. No. He just looked human. Almost impeccably so. But you would have to speak with both the Queen and, of course, my boss, the head of the entire investigation. If you can get permission from both of them, I think you'd be able to have those things prepared for you.
On the subject of scrying, has anyone scryed the prince?
Reginald?
Yes,
There is a
where he
scrying.
was during the murder?
That's not how scrying works. You can't scry the past.
Huh.
If it's already passed, then you'd have to be able to manipulate time, and no one's been able to do that for a long, long while. But as for scrying, there's a constant scrying spell over him as is. So there's always someone watching him at present.
Who was able to manipulate time?
He kind of shrugs. It's like the Fae have never had that ability, regrettably, not since the oaths with that particular element were shattered.
Yeah, that would track.
In order for the Fae to utilize the magics we so covet, we need to rely on oaths with the elements themselves. Without them, we're, well, not much. Nothing, in a way.
Alright, well, I mean, we wanted to check a couple other things around the castle there, so I'm sure we can talk with the Queen and get her to agree to that side of the bargain, and maybe you can put a word into your boss then and try to get that squared away as well.
Well, about that, he takes out what looks to be a wax-sealed envelope. Are you heading to the castle today?
Yes.
Yes.
He'll offer the letter over to anyone who will take it.
I'll take it.
He is at the castle today doing his own investigation work. So, you might run into him there.
Perfect.
Oh, and I suppose while we're at that, would you happen to know anyone in this district that would sell very high quality spell components, specifically incense and ivory strips?
I do. There is a hag on the main street. She does. Okay, so there is a hag on the main street. It's called Bobs and Curiosities. She sells all manner of reagents, strange, legendary, and like.
A hag, and this hag is reputable?
I'd say so.
Alright.
She hasn't done anything wrong. She just sells reagents.
Alright.
Considering where you're at, asking if someone was reputable or anything is a little, what's the phrase for it? Silly.
Point taken.
Yes. Also, I did notice that we're past our break mark. Would you guys like to take a break so I can go eat dinner?
Yes.
How
Right.
dare you, Nova?
Too bad. Alright, we'll go ahead and take our 15-minute break, and we'll be back after that.